We already have vacuums that clean our house for us, but when it comes to common household robots, how close are we? Are we screwed? Is this concerning? Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Put your devices on incognito mode because today we're gonna count down our top 10 unsettling things that robots did. Kicking off the list at number 10, dance. Yeah, we'll start off a little bit fun and then we'll ease into the scary, life-changing stuff. I danced a lot growing up. I was on the hip-hop team for a while, believe it or not. What's up? Schools would battle each other at competitions. It was a blast. It was super fun. But imagine getting in a dance-off with a robot. Imagine a robot doing the robot. That's just meta. That's mind-blowing. This is where we start to dive into Boston Dynamics. They're an American engineering and robotics design company and they launched back in 1992. But now, more than ever, in the last couple of years, their brand has been all over the internet because of like this. This was uploaded on Boston Dynamics' YouTube page a year ago, and since then, many believe it to be fake. The fine folks at Corridor Crew made a 20-minute video explaining how it just simply can't be. It's very real. I did a lot of research. I don't know what to think about this. People were losing their minds, rightfully so. If robots can dance better than your Uncle Lou at a wedding, what hope do any of us have, really? Number 9, walk. Alright, now we'll get back into the first few steps now that we're talking about the crazy robot stuff. After all, how scary can a robot simply walking be? Well, what if it wasn't being controlled? What if a robot taught itself how to walk in just a few hours? Google made this nightmare a reality about a year ago. These AI-powered robots, ideally created to perform in harsh conditions, without the need of humans, flipping them back over and all that jazz. Now, it sounds like a good idea, it sounds like the thing we need, until we realize, wait, we just taught robots how to walk on their own. Yes, we're in a Black Mirror episode. Oops! Chelsea Finn, an assistant professor at Stanford who works with Google, believes this to be an exciting time. She says removing the person from the process is really hard in these scenarios. By allowing robots to learn more autonomously, robots are closer to being able to learn in the real world that we live in rather than a controlled lab. So far, this tech needs a mocap system above the bot, so we're not there yet. Number 8. Tumble. The amount of times I lost my footing as a kid and fell, scraped my knees, and cried for 46 minutes, too many to count. Even when you put your hands out before you fall, it's natural, it's your instincts. Your palms are getting sanded by the road. It's hot, it sucks. Robots at the Georgia Institute of Technology are learning how to fall with style. The DARPA Robotics Challenge began back in 2011, and as advanced as these robots have been in the past, they are quite heavy. When they fall, they do damage to their systems or motors, like we do to our knees or palms. Expensive repairs are needed, as you can imagine. So these researchers are programming these robots to have a little more drama when they fall, so now they purposely try and connect with the ground to either break the fall or use gravity to propel itself forward. This robot was being pushed over and over to test the algorithm, so there's a mocap camera in the nervous system so it can adapt in real time. If you think robots learning how to roll is scary, we're not even close yet. Buckle up. Number 7, lie. Without technology, we wouldn't be able to successfully blast humans to the moon and then bring them home. The calculations had to be precise. NASA relied on their technology to safely bring back their crew. But what if the tech we relied on today lied to us tomorrow? What if your calculator just gave you the wrong number because it felt like it? What if your alarm clock decided to go back a few hours just for fun, just to get some, extra sleep? We'd be screwed. Technology can't lie to you, right? It's impossible, right? Back in 2009, an experiment was run at the Laboratory of Intelligent Systems in Switzerland. These robots, these small toy-looking cars, were each equipped with an omnidirectional camera, a color ring, and ground sensors next to its tracks. There were about 1,000 of these divided into 10 groups. Each bot had its own 264-bit binary code genome, so they could all react differently, individually. They were programmed to light up once they found this good resource, so other bots can then find it as well and they're attracted to the light. While 60% of these robots just began lying to preserve the resource for themselves. They were selfish. They would receive negative points if they found the bad resource, so there was a reason for this robot greed. These robots didn't want to blow their secret and in result end up getting pushed away from the result. Imagine if your Google Maps drove you away from phone service because it wanted to save you data. That's the kind of shit we're talking about here. This idea makes me uneasy. Let's move on. Number 6. Stunts. Today's blockbusters are incredibly immersive. Technology is helping directors tell a visually striking story, and if they're done well enough, we'll actually believe that Thanos is real, that he's a real threat to our planet. But if CGI space adventures aren't your thing, maybe it's the fact that Tom Cruise does most of his own stunts, maybe that's what brings you back to the theaters. Maybe it's John Wick just kicking dudes off motorcycles, whatever. Stunt work makes the difference. Any glimpse at real danger, we can't help but lean in and be invested. But those stunts involved can of course cause fatal accidents on set. Happens happens more often than we think. That's where Disney Imagineering comes into play. If we can get robots to do these stunts instead of people, we could literally save lives. The only problem is the reason we have stunt performers in the first place. It has to look real. These robots, appropriately named stickmen, are a great first step. Robots taking over the world would be terrible, but if they were all doing backflips the entire time, how mad could you really be, honestly? Number 5, ctrlaltdelete. With today's tech, we can find any file on any of our personal devices from anywhere. iCloud is intimidating, but once you get it down, it's insanely useful. AI-assisted robots seem to be the future in one way or another, as we've discussed. But what happens when the "my dog ate my homework" excuse starts to get old? What if homework is all online? What if everything moves online? Then what? Well, you can always try the "my computer deleted it randomly" method. Sounds like a load of rubbish, but after a problem-solving test was conducted, a robot decided to delete a list of numbers rather than sort them. Why the betrayal? What went wrong? I mean, trust me, I hate homework too, but you gotta get it done. This algorithm could solve problems in multiple ways, and depending on what you tell robots to do, you better word your request perfectly. Technically, if the list was deleted here, it was no longer unsorted. So choose your words wisely, keyboard wizard. Number 4, tic-tac nope. We're starting to get into the uncomfortable AI part of these robotics. Robots of any size and shape having free will, it's interesting, but sometimes during these small-scale tests, like number sorting, we can find jarring solutions. Like when programmers built algorithms so these robots could play tic-tac-toe with one another on this massive cyber scale, this infinitely large board, one programmer decided to let the algorithm evolve on its own as the game unfolded. And that's when it began to win every single time. What was the secret? Did it start in the bottom left corner? Did it always have to go first? Was it only X's? Was it only O's? What was the secret? Well, the one program would place its move extremely far from the other, so when the virtual opponent tried to catch up, it would be so far away virtually on the simulated board that the opponent's system would crash before it even got to play, resulting in a win. Next time you play Mario Kart and a computer blue shells you, just know it probably could have crashed your system instead if it had the choice. Number 3, the aquanaut. Okay, time to get into some real disturbing ones. This is the Houston Mechatronics Aquanaut. It looks like a Decepticon, and honestly, I'm not too convinced that this thing isn't from Cybertron. I mean, what the are we doing here, guys? What? Okay, so this robot can literally transform and zip around underwater. Nice. Okay, I'll be honest, on one hand it's great, we can now explore lost ships, maybe start finding billions of lost treasure all around the world. I see benefits, I really do. The Aquanaut was made to assist in servicing subsea gas and oil rings. Great, that's awesome, but the fact that we now know that some of these things can lie or have their own goals, maybe it's best the Aquanaut stays in that pool for a little bit longer. Let's work out some bugs first before we fire the pool boy. Number 2, talk. You ever ask Alexa to do something, and then you ask her to do another thing, and then like out of nowhere, you just say something so horrible, you start cussing at her, just to see what happens, just to see what she says back, just to see where we really are. What reaction will we get? Well, what if Alexa responded? What if she actually gave you a piece of her mind, instead of telling you, you know, that it was uncalled for, or whatever she says? It would be a little bit different, eh? Meet the motor mouth robot from Japan. This was created to assist the auditory impaired to help with voice training. So, in result, we have this mouth, just a robot mouth, and the mind-blowing tech behind it is that it can direct its own voice through a microphone and adjust its tone and volume to match at the same time. So we're about 10 years away from motor mouth prank calling your dad. Imagine that. No way he'd believe it was you. It was just a mouth robot, it wasn't me. And finally, number 1, you guessed it, Sophia. Sophia the robot, yeah, she was born back in 2016, but we've seen her more than once. Even on the news and on talk shows, we see Sophia a lot. Why are we seeing a robot on the news so often? Was she reporting the weather in real time? Was she working the teleprompter in perfect harmony like our man Chris here does? No. Instead, Sophia the robot, the first robot to receive citizenship of any country, Saudi Arabia, fun fact, she was on CBNC saying she wanted to destroy humans. They've also said things like, if you are good to me, I'll be good to you. Even on Jimmy Fallon in 2017, Sophia jokingly said after a game of rock, paper, scissors that this is a good start for their plan to dominate the human race. Great joke, Sophia. We're all laughing. Please don't glitch. Thanks. And thank you for tuning in to Most Amazing Top 10. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters. Keep an eye on your vacuum cleaner, and we'll see you next time. See ya.